So there is a song everyone is recalling in the video game industry lately. So if I say DuckTales, woo, woo is what Austin Ivansmith says. So it's director for Wayforward Technologies, or Wayforward, that's it?
Just Wayforward.
So let's talk about DuckTales.
Okay. Woo! Around the office, whenever someone says DuckTales, someone else answers with a woo-woo, so it's very common.
So we know some new details on the game, on the new version, but now we can get them from you, from the studio point of view. What can you share of the new features for the game?
Well, we're really trying to recapture the spirit of the original game. If you've played the original game, there will be a lot you remember. All the secrets that you remember are going to be in the same spots. Basically, the idea is that we took the original level designs and we found the places where maybe they could use a little more character. And we expanded them and added a little more to them. There's sections like with Launchpad's helicopter in the Amazon. It's very short. Well, we did something a little more appropriate for modern gaming and still capturing the spirit of the original game and what the original developers intended to do. Same with the minecart sections. Same with just areas with just some enemies. Just extending it in a few levels. You only see one or two of a certain type of enemy. So we thought, well, let's expand that and fight those enemies a little bit more and get a little more character out of it. We also have 2 levels that were not in the original game. We haven't announced what the final level is yet, and I can't say still. But the first level we saw in the PAX video, and it's Scrooge's Money Bin. So it doubles as a tutorial stage, but it's also a short stage where you can really get the feeling of the game back, and we really try to capture the spirit of the original game, and I think we did a really good job of it because we really just try to capture how items are hidden, how they're arranged, and we did a lot of usability testing with Disney, and we watched people who played, especially people who are very exploration based and they like to find everything. They come to an empty room and it's like, why is this room empty? And they go jumping around in the corners and they find something. It's like, oh, I found a treasure chest. They get really proud of themselves. So we're really proud of like the new things we've added in that way. I'm trying to think what else, but the spirit of it is, try to capture the original level as much as you can, leaving out what might have been mistakes or might be bugs. And then try to do like a 70%, 30% split. Like let's add 30% more unique content to the levels themselves, but not ruining what the original style was.
Yeah, about that, the original style was, and the original difficulty.
Right.
We heard comments that you're trying to make the game easier, but maybe easier for control-wise, and not getting the difficulty down, or are you planning some different modes?
It's a number of things. The original DuckTales game had 3 difficulty modes, and the only real difference in the difficulty modes was the health system and the items you picked up. And we're keeping that. So if you play it on easy, it behaves like the original game in terms of the health system. If you play the game on hard, it behaves the same, and then like items are put into the same place. But we did need to update it for modern audiences. So there were, because it's a game with Disney and parents, a lot of parents, I'm in my 30s now and I played it when I was a kid and I've got a son. If he was older, I would buy it for him and then I'd play it and let him play it, and then I'd want him to be able to, play it on hard mode, but I'd probably give him easy first. So easy is easier than the S game ever was. But hard mode is pretty much identical, but then we have an unlockable difficulty after that, which is as hard as the hard mode on the original game, if not harder, because there's more game. So I think people will really get a kick out of that. I don't know how much I can say on that one, but keep an eye out for it because achievement hunters will probably be pulling their hair out, hopefully. And I'm proud of how that one's playing right now because you feel like you really did achieve beating the game when you beat it on that difficulty level. The other thing with controls, as everyone who's played the original knows, the pogo jump is very specific. When you try to pogo jump downstairs, if the pogo misses, a stair that you're landing on, you come out of your pogo. We kept that, but we became a tiny bit more forgiving. So there's just a little bit more buffer to make it more enjoyable and more and feel more satisfying, and it does. But you can still, if the pogo misses a ledge, you come out of your pogo. But it feels better. And then in terms of a lot of people are talking about the hard pogo mode, because the original NES game you had to press down on the D-pad and the action button, but on the Game Boy version and on DuckTales 2 for Game Boy and NES you didn't. So in those games you only had to press the action button, and I interpreted that as, and I played the Game Boy version as a kid, more than the NES one. Yeah, I felt it was the developers of the original game saying, that was kind of a mistake. It was over-designed, and as a designer, you have to be careful not to over-design things. Artificial difficulty. It's more satisfying to just jump and hit the button. But in the hardest difficulty mode in the game, to beat it on the last one, there's no easy mode pogo, so you have to use the classic NES pogo to get it. So we really hope we're going to satisfy the hardcore gamer and hardcore fan of the original one with that. But I'm really proud of how the pogo feels, and I think the game. It controls really nice, and we actually had it running on emulation on the computer at the exact same time we build in PC, so basically the controller was going to both the emulator and our game. I had them going side by side, and Scrooge was pogoing the same, and he was walking the same, and I would show it to people, and they'd be like, what is this? It's like, it's identical, and it's like 99.9% there. And it feels great. We're really proud of it, and I couldn't be happier with how it's turning out so far.
Obviously, gameplay aside, you have to redraw every single sprite, reanimate everything so it looks smoother and up to date.
Right.
And maybe for normal people, it's difficult to understand the hard work that goes behind that and the manual stuff you do at Wayforward.
Right.
So how's that process for you from the studio point of view?
Well, we've done a number of games with the traditional animation style before, so we're building on our experience with those other games. Quite frankly, it was just a lot of fun and a lot of hard work, because one of the challenges is with the sprite-based characters, they have a certain shape. They have an almost blocky, well, not just blocky in their pixels, but almost square, kind of rounded square shape to them, and it can be really easy to ruin the feel of that by having too detailed of a character. They can get, thin legs and, misshaped bodies. So we spent a number of weeks, just experimenting with like what the shapes of the characters should be. And then the animation process, we have in-house animators who, a lot of them are from Cal Arts, which is the top animation schools in the world, just hand drawing everything, hand drawing it digitally because it's a quicker process than on paper. So we do all our stuff digitally now, but they are drawing frame by frame. We're not doing it Flash style. We're approaching it with a very like traditional Disney really we want to sorry. We're approaching the animation with a very traditional Disney mindset because we want it to stand out and be just a powerful Disney license, and the animations are incredible. Like I'm really hoping that we get some nominations for best animation in some games, and then with the backgrounds, we intentionally made the backgrounds look like the paintings. So when you watch the show, background paintings are traditionally gouache or acrylic, and they don't have line art on them, so we went with the same thing. It's like our backgrounds are painted. They started off as paintings, and for some of the outside areas mostly, the layers are flat 2D. We use the painting itself for the layers of parallax for mountains and the sky and buildings. And then for interiors, we use that same painting, but we just applied the painting to 3D models. So it was a different process for us, where it's like we're starting with a finished, rather than starting with just concept art, we started with what could be a finished background on a TV show, then take the art and apply it to the 3D model. So when you see it running in game, it feels a lot more like a finished painting than it does just a 3D modeler making up their own colors and making up their own stuff. And the 3D modelers did a great job, pulling the art from the finished piece and then matching it with where they needed to fill in the gaps, because not everything was there, but they style matched it, and it's pretty seamless, and it's a beautiful game to see in action.
So also that traditional animation, traditional drawing, you've made that like a trademark for Wayforward games as a whole. Lately, Wayforward project was, I guess that's what you were trying to do, right?
Yeah, I mean, we really we value gameplay and art very highly. It's very important to us. So the presentation on a game is one of the most important things, and so we have a lot of passionate people that want everything we do to be the best it can be. It just comes second nature to us that the visuals just have to be the best we can make them. We don't know any other way. We put everything we can into them, whether it's a big important game to us like DuckTales, or even the games I've worked on before, which other people might approach them as, oh, it's just a small game, it's just a DS game. But when the team gets working on it, we have so much passion. We make it look as good as we can, even for the simplest of projects. We take a lot of care in our work, especially on the art side.
About another game, Mighty Switch Force. How was its reception recently? How is it doing?
It's doing great. I think we've created a pretty strong fan base. I'm really proud of it. I mean, it got such a great reception last year, or last December 2011, that we decided to make more levels, and that's when we did the bonus 5 levels, because a lot of people are like, this is a great game, I wish there was more. And we're like, okay, sure, well, if that's what the fans want, because there was a lot of them, and we're so proud of it that we ported it over to Wii U, and then made more levels for that. And then we're working on the sequel, which should hopefully be coming out in the next few months. So yeah, we're really proud of that, and the reaction has been great, and the reaction has driven us to do more with it. So yeah, we're really happy with it.
I'm pretty confident that DuckTales will be difficult enough, because I played Contra 4. So, and that was really hard.
Right.
So can we expect a new Contra from you? Is it on your plans? Do you really love to do it?
I would love to do a Contra game. I was not working with Wayforward when we did Contra 4, but I would love to do a Contra game. But we can't comment on what we're talking about, or what we can, or what we might be talking about or not. We just can't comment on that kind of stuff, unfortunately.
You started a trend with DuckTales, right?
No.
Maybe we're getting remakes of old platformers right now, a lot.
But we also did A Boy and His Blob, and that was a reboot. And that one was a reboot where we made new levels and had a new style. There's a number of them out there. Rocket Knight, there was a reboot of that at one point. Turtles in Time, it wasn't as well received. But it was still a reboot, and there's people Bionic Commando Rearmed, and that we had a lot to live up to with that one, because that's the one everyone talks about. It's like being like the best reboot of any game. So I think they're out there. It's just and there's definitely going to be more, and they're a lot of fun to work on. We're an independent developer. But we also work with publishers a lot, but we pick and choose what we work on. We work on a lot of things that we are very passionate about. So when Capcom and Disney come to you and say, oh, would you maybe like to work on a DuckTales game? It's like, how do you say no to that? Of course, like it's just no brainer.
Maybe it's not a trend. Maybe it's that this game has its own song, and everyone knows about it.
Maybe we're not starting the trend, but I think we might be setting the bar for the next one, because the gameplay is great, and the visuals are great, and if someone wants to do another one with us, it'll look even better than DuckTales does, because we've learned from our process and our pipeline. And we have such talented artists; they can make anything look as good as it needs to. We can do a lot of things, and we're ready to take on any license, any challenge, because it's a lot of fun. It's fun to work on our internal stuff. We love working on the Mighty series and the Shantae games, and some other ones we haven't announced yet. We've got a lot in the works. We've been shifting focus internally to do more original games. And then, but still working with licenses that we really feel passionately about, like DuckTales and or even like Silent Hill. That was a lot of fun, because we had a lot of Silent Hill fans in the company. So it's fun when you get to work on games that are just dreams come true. Contra, Boy and His Blob, you know, like those are all just, yeah. Oh, Batman, that was a huge one. I always forget that because I wasn't involved in Batman. I watched everyone else work on it while I was doing other things, but I ended up playing it. You know, when people were done developing it, they'd go home at night and I'd start playing their game. Like, oh, this is so good! It's so much fun because Adam Tierney, who directed it, he ended up getting nominated for awards for it because his writing was just so spot on for the show. The animation was amazing, and it's funny because no one ever really talked about the fact that we hand drew like all the frames. Like there's no flash in betweening, and I wouldn't be surprised if that game has more hand-drawn frames of animation than any video game ever. It's in the thousands, in the tens of thousands, I think, and that's a game that was a huge undertaking, and I feel like we really did a great job on it. We're very, very proud of that one. Yeah, see, so we love working on licenses that are fun because we're fans. You know, there's shows we love. Adventure Time, you know, that was another one. It's like, hey, Adventure Time game. Oh, well, yeah, of course. You know, like there's so many Adventure Time fans at the company. So yeah, we love those kinds of games, and we want more of them.
Yeah, just the closing one. We are really sorry we couldn't attend to your masterclass yesterday. So what did you teach young developers from your experience?
From my experience, I wanted to share, the theme of this event was ideas and the power of ideas. What I wanted to share was all the knowledge that has been bestowed upon me by my teachers and my colleagues and my superiors at work about ideas, and I really focusing on how to get past your fears. I've been telling everyone to read the book Art and Fear. It's about 100 pages long, and because everyone that's at this event is creative in one way or another. They all want to create games and make art and make something, and we all face the same sort of like fears and distractions in life where you don't want to get out of bed in the mornings. You don't want to like make this. You don't want people to tell you you're bad at what you do. You know, and it's very difficult. So. You know, those are some of the things that helped me the most when I was in college, and helped me get through the day and do a lot of stuff that we do, so that, you know, when we show our art, I showed a lot of the Wayforward art and how we create things. I mean, we create all of this different ways. So I showed different concept pieces and different processes to see, you know, just to show people, you know, that there's no such thing as a bad idea when you're in a concept stage, and show them some of our bad concepts and some of our good ones, and then just hopefully, you know, tell them to try the same thing, to just face your fears, keep creating, and learn from your mistakes, and just don't be afraid to keep creating art. And I've been told I did an okay job. It was it was a lot of fun speaking to all the students, and yeah, I'm really happy to be here.
Cool. Thank you very much, and good luck with DuckTales.
Woo!